We got all kinds of things going on in the kitchen today. Behind me, I have my canner going with a pot of water. We went and picked peaches this weekend, which led to us going to buy peach trees. We can never just like go and do something. We're like, oh, we could do that here. So then we end up, you know how it goes, going overboard. Anyways, I have a bunch of these beautiful peaches. They're starting to get fruit flies on my counter, so I am going to process them. I put a ton in the freezer. I made peach butter. I'll put that recipe below. It turned out okay. I don't think I cooked it long enough, like cooked it down, so it's a little watery. So I'll put the original recipe that I found on Pinterest in the description, but I highly recommend cooking it for quite a long time to get it down so it's pretty thick. I have more peaches in my Ninja dehydrating, and then like I said, I have some in the freezer. But I'm gonna go ahead and can these. I'll show you guys how I can them. I'm going to be using honey instead of sugar. There's a lot of options out there to use maple syrup. I was thinking about using maple syrup, but honestly, I use that in my coffee every day, so I'm like, I would rather use the honey that I don't use in my coffee every day. And the lady who does honey is right down the road. The lady who does our maple syrup is like 40 minutes away. So I just figured I would use up the honey that we have right now to can these peaches. The first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put them into boiling water. What that does is it allows the skin to kind of separate from the meat inside, and then it's easier. Then I just put them into an ice bath, and then the skin will just peel off. Then once I have all that done, I'm going to pit them, half them, and then I'm going to put them in with water, honey, just cook them for like 2 minutes, and then I'll go ahead and put them in my canning jars, and then we'll set that up to can. First tip for this is to make sure you have plenty of bowls. You're going to be having these, you're going to be having some scraps, so it's good to put any scraps in bowls if you can compost that or feed it to your animals. So I just boiled them for probably a minute and then put them into the cold bath, and you can see how easily the skins come off. This is probably the best method. I do want to let you know that if your peaches are not ripe, this will not work. I had a few that weren't quite as ripe, and it didn't peel off as easy. So next I'm just going to half these peaches. A lot of times the peaches will just fall in half on their own, and sometimes you'll have to cut them. It all depends on how ripe they are and how long you leave them in the water bath. Next, I'm going to put a cup of honey in with 4 cups of boiling water. I like to use local honey, but you can use any sort of honey for this. And then you just want to make sure that you're mixing everything together so it creates a syrup. So it's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes for that to mix together, and then you want to start getting your jars ready. This is what it really looks like when I'm trying to can. Got Colton. What are you doing, bud? Playing in the sink. You got baby sister playing, huh? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Are we canning?
Yeah, I'm planting apple trees.
We did plant apple trees, but we're also canning peaches.
I forgot to mention, when I put the halved peaches into this bowl, I did about a tablespoon of citric acid just to prevent the peaches from turning brown. So next I'm going to put the peaches right into that syrup. I just kind of eyeball how many peaches to the syrup. There's not an exact measurement, but what I did was 4 cups of water, 1 cup of honey, and then probably 15 or 16 peaches. So I'm going to put the burner on medium to low, and I'm going to let this simmer for about 4 to 5 minutes. I just want to make sure that it's covering all of the peaches with that syrup. And I want to make sure that the peaches are hot. If you end up with more peaches than what I have and you're not able to soak them all in the syrup, you could do half of your peaches and then take them out and then do the other half. That's completely fine too. So I have heated my jars, and then I'm just going to use a ladle and this canning funnel, and I'm going to funnel the peaches as well as some of the syrup into the jars, leaving about 1 inch of head space in each jar. Now I'm taking a clean dish towel and just wiping the rim of all of my jars. It is very important to do this or they could not seal. It's fine if they don't seal. You can still use the peaches. You'll just have to keep them in your refrigerator and use those ones first. Next, you want to screw on the lid. You want this to just be finger tight. You don't want to put it on too tight. Once I have all of my lids screwed on finger tight, I'm going to then lower them into my water bath canner. You want to make sure that you have enough water in your pot to cover the jars about an inch. I always overestimate and they cover a little bit more, but just keep in mind you don't want the water obviously flowing out onto your stove. Now I'm going to carefully put my jars down into the water, and then I'm going to put the lid on and set a timer for 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and take my jars out of the canner and put them on the counter. I'm going to let them cool, and then after they're done cooling, I can press on the top of the jar to see if it has actually sealed or not. Typically, you'll hear them as soon as you pull them out of the hot water click, and that means that they're sealed. But you can always press on the top to see if you have any movement or if they're completely sealed. And then you have yourself some beautiful peaches.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us while we canned some of our peaches. I will put all of the information in the description below. I'm gonna go ahead and take the kids. We're gonna go for a little walk and enjoy this beautiful day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.